Hello again, everyone. Happy New Year. Welcome to the January episode of Let's Talk Miamisburg. I'm Gary Giles. Nice to have you with us as we launch into 2021. We're going to begin the year with a look at economic development in Miamisburg. A little later in the program, we'll look specifically at business news in the city's downtown district. There's a new program in place to assist aspiring entrepreneurs, and you'll want to be sure and stay tuned to that segment and learn more. First up, though, we'll take a look at some projects across the community. To do that, I'm pleased to welcome back to the program the city's Economic Development Director, Chris Fine.
Thanks, Gary.
Before we get to Chris, viewers should be aware that our episode here in January is pre-recorded. As a result, we will be unable to accept questions over the phone. We will, however, be providing you with contact information if you'd like to follow up on any of our topics. Chris Fine, welcome to the show. We appreciate you giving us a little time and sharing some of your thoughts.
Well, thank you. It's always good to be here.
Your office and your department are located in the building just behind us here on the set, which is sort of catty-corner to the Miamisburg Civic Center near downtown at the corner of Central Avenue and First Street. You know, Chris, despite so much uncertainty in society over the past year, development activity has continued in Miamisburg. Let's take a look at some of the highlights for our viewers during this segment, and we're going to start on the residential side. Housing construction was modest in our community for the past decade or so. That's beginning to change.
Yeah, in 2020, we actually got most of the way through approval on 2 new subdivisions in the community. So that's pretty exciting. We haven't had any new subdivisions approved probably in 10 or 15 years.
Sure. Well, let's put a map graphic on the screen for the viewer at home, and I'm going to let you talk us through each one and some of the details about each of the 2 developments that people are going to start seeing coming up out of the ground.
Okay, well, we'll start with Aberdeen. That's the blue area on the map there. That's located really at the intersection of Medlar Road and Miamisburg Springboro Road. There will actually be an entrance to that subdivision right across the street from Medlar View Elementary School. Last time we talked, I was on the show, that was referred to as Course View at Pipestone.
Yeah, so I remember that.
Some things have changed. It's now called Aberdeen, about 130 homes. It's about 44 acres there. Homes are going to be somewhere between 1,400 square feet to maybe 3,400 square feet in a combination of single-story kind of patio home type of product and traditional 2-story homes. And that subdivision is currently under construction. They've started selling lots, and they have seen a lot of interest. I think the last I heard, they've sold 10 or 12 lots out there. And we have actually issued the permit for the first model home. So should start seeing a house being built out there.
Okay. How about the second one?
Sure. The other one, Deer Valley, that one isn't quite as far along. They do have to come back through the Planning Commission and City Council for one final approval. But that's 86 acres, and it's located on the south side of Benner Road, right where Mound Road intersects with Benner Road. That's going to be about 197 homes. Again, those will be a mixture of single-story patio and traditional 2-story. Be about 6 to 8 year build out. They should start construction here late spring, early summer.
6 to 8 year build out.
Yep.
And depending on, let's assume that the approval process that you mentioned proceeds smoothly. When would construction begin? Later in 2021?
Yeah, they want to start probably maybe as late as summer.
Okay.
Yep.
And how about the build out on the first development, the Aberdeen?
They think that's going to be a 3 to 4 year build out.
Okay.
So yeah, over the next 3 to 8 years, we're going to have a couple hundred new homes here in the community.
So a little quicker.
Yep.
A little quicker. Okay. Yep. Well, some residential building activity taking place in Miamisburg, and we'll look for that to be very visible in 2021. Let's move to the commercial side, starting in the city's downtown district, which we're going to talk about a little bit later in the program in detail. But we've talked to you before about plans to redevelop the former Sutman's clothing store on Main Street, and I know you're very excited now that that construction on that project is well underway.
Yeah, that has been a long time coming.
Sure.
If I think the last time we talked, the city owned that building. We no longer own that. We've actually turned that over to the developer. They were able to get some historic preservation tax credits for that property, which is the first time that the city has received tax credits on those properties. You can see a picture up there. That is what it looked like in its former glory. But construction has begun. The building that you can see on the left there with the white and black upper story, that has been demolished. That will become a patio and actually an entrance to a downstairs basement space right there off the sidewalk. So the developer's putting about $2.2 million into that building. The first floor will be commercial. I think they're looking for kind of a restaurant, maybe a brew pub type of use on that first floor. And the second and third floors will be high-end apartments, I think 8 apartment units up there. And then you can see on the screen there, that is the rendering that the developer has provided to us, kind of give you an idea of what that building might look like when it's finished. So again, construction started, and I think they want to hopefully wrap up by the end of this year.
A stark contrast between those two pictures, to be sure.
Yes.
Any tenants firm yet?
No, not yet.
Okay.
Haven't heard anything. It's still a little early. They're still, I think, gutting the building and working on all new mechanicals, all new electric, plumbing, everything.
Is that something else that should be complete in 2021?
Yeah, all of that work should be completed by the end of the year.
Okay. The area near Austin Center, the Austin Center exit off I-75, has been very attractive to business and very good to Miamisburg. Tell us what's happening along Byers Road, where we've seen a series of multi-use commercial buildings go up since that interchange was built.
Sure, yeah. We call that Austin Business Park. As of the beginning of 2020, we had 3 buildings up there. A new tenant in Building 3 was Worth Electronics.
Mm-hmm.
Since that time, the developer has begun construction on building number 4, and that is currently under construction. It's about 60,000 square feet of speculative space. No real tenants identified for that, but we do expect that building to start filling up here as we get into 2021. And they just submitted plans for building number 5, which is going to be on the opposite side of Byers Road across from building 3 and 4. So, and that'll be another 60,000 square foot multi-tenant building. We've had a lot of great success filling those buildings before they're finished or as as they're finishing up. So the developer wants to take advantage of that momentum and keep that moving. So if you look at the whole Austin interchange area from like Motoman over to Byers Road, we've got about 800,000 square feet of new construction since the interchange was opened and over 1,000 new jobs in the community. So it's been a great project. That investment that the city made has really paid off.
Would any of that be happening without that interchange?
No, not at all. I can say that with certainty.
The extension of the Byers Road a few years ago just paved the way for tremendous business activity.
It did,
Great
yes.
project.
It has been a great project for the city.
And very popular, and we'll see if that newest building out there is fills up with good, productive tenants like the others have.
Sure.
You've got the Austin Business Park, which you mentioned, and then further down on Byers, near the water tower, very similar structures, what was referred to as the Byers Business Park.
That's right.
Equally popular. So,
same type of building, same developers.
Exactly.
They're really good at what they do.
Of course, the Mound Business Park continues to evolve after the departure of the federal government from that site. What's the latest news at Mound?
Well, probably 2 things. The biggest piece of news is former Mayor Dick Church has been appointed as the Mound administrator for the site and for Mound Development Corporation. Mm-hmm. Gary, you know, Dick has spent his whole career basically fighting for the Mound and helping turn that around, so we think that's going to be a good fit. He's really working on strategy for the site and really maintaining those relationships with those federal organizations. Second bit of news, Excelitas, the largest tenant up there at Mound, just completed a 38,000 square foot building addition on their building. They are the largest employer at Mound with 160 employees. They're planning on adding another 40 with this new building addition. So they're slowly moving into that building. It just finished.
That's great news,
Yes.
especially from the largest employer there. And you mentioned former Mayor Church, such an ambassador for Mound for so many years, and it's a great post-political position for him out there. I'm sure he'll do a good job.
He has built a lot of relationships. Want to make sure we maintain those.
Sure. And you're on the board of the Mound Development Corporation.
I am, yes.
Let's, in the time we have left, let's shoot through a couple of quick other development activity going on around the community. For travelers, motorists coming down 725 towards Miamisburg from the Dayton Mall area, you've got Sycamore Medical Center on the left. That's Miamisburg's largest employer on that campus.
Yep.
On the right, there's a lot of construction activity going on, a lot of land clearing. What's going on there?
So Kettering Health Network, Sycamore Hospital, partnered with a company called CareSpring. Mm-hmm. CareSpring is building a new 70,000 square foot, 99-bed skilled nursing facility right across the street from the hospital. the hospital is transferring their nursing beds that are on Sycamore campus to CareSpring, and CareSpring will operate those on behalf of the hospital. So that project's under construction. Spent a lot of time doing site work. I was just past there yesterday, and they have started framing the building, so you can start to see that come up out of the ground. But it's going to be a nice building, and we think it'll fit nicely right there in that location.
Will there be an entrance off 725 to that?
Not initially.
Okay.
I think they've planned for that, but it
Sure.
will not be built initially. So access will be off of Old Central on the other side.
Okay. There is another business park that's been around in Miamisburg for at least a couple decades. It's called the Interstate Tech Park.
That's right.
Interstate Technical Park, which is off Byers Road. It's got a sign out front labeling that area off Byers. And exciting news back there. A new business has opened up in recent months, a brand new facility.
Yep. Interstate Tech Park was one of our first business parks here in the community. There was a piece of land kind of at the back of that that was undeveloped, and C&E Advanced Technologies built a new 41,000 square foot headquarters facility back there. They just opened that earlier this year. I was fortunate enough to take a tour of that last month with the CEO, Carrie Cooper, and it is a great facility. You can see a picture of it up there in their corporate colors, the red and the beige there, but it is a great facility. They moved from Washington Township in about 15,000 square feet, so this building is considerably larger and gives them plenty of opportunity for growth.
Another great addition up there to that area. It's right across the street from the most recent new building addition,
right.
which was Staco Energy Products.
Yep.
Also a beautiful facility that you were very involved with.
Yep, Staco, they consolidated two operations, an existing small operation here in Miamisburg, larger one in Dayton, into a new facility there in 2019. So
Sure.
That was a great project.
I think when you were on with us last time, Chris, we talked about a possible new location for the Castrusi Auto Mall, which is located right next to the Dayton Mall,
Yep.
or right across the street from the Dayton Mall. A sprawling multi-dealer complex, but they've sort of had a change of plan, haven't they?
Yeah, so they were going to rebuild their facility over on Byers Road on some land that they purchased. For a variety of reasons, they decided to kind of abandon that plan. But what you see out there at the Auto Mall currently is the construction of a new Honda dealership. So they're going to spend the next 3 to 5 years rebuilding the Auto Mall on the existing site, starting with a new Honda dealership. I think next will be a new used car dealership out there. So we had approved way back in 2007 a new Honda dealership on that site, and then they never ended up moving forward with that. So they've come back to that plan, and they're starting that now.
Did they have to go through that approval process
They did.
all over again?
They did, yeah. The plan's a little different, but the facility's about the same.
Well, you've seen some activity out there with some land clearing and shifting of some automobile lots.
Yeah.
So that's quite a complex. But is that another project that you would expect to be completed this year?
I would imagine, yeah, most of that will be wrapped up. It's going to be a good project. It'll really clean that little area up,
Sure.
Formalize some of those parking areas, and get some landscaping out there. So, yeah.
Well, as we run through these things, I can't help but think that through all this uncertainty that's occurred in the past 10 months or so, that it would appear while some businesses, niche businesses, certain areas of the economy have struggled during this era, the the business community in Miamisburg has in many ways kind of held its own during this tumultuous time. Is that the impression that you get in
Yeah, that's
talking to
right.
these people?
We have been very fortunate, I think, here in Miamisburg. I think there was only one small company that we lost due to COVID, that's on the kind of the light industrial manufacturing side.
Mm-hmm.
Most of them have held their own. Obviously, they were impacted. I don't want to sit here and say they were not impacted. A lot of job furloughs and whatnot, but I have talked to several of them. They are looking very optimistically towards 2021 and ready to kind of get back to business as usual as best they can. Most of them, the hiring has started back. They've started bringing some of those furloughed workers back. And they're really wanting to put, like most of us, 2020 behind us and move into 2021 with some optimism.
And because of that holding their own, we've seen that for the local government, the revenues have been somewhat stable.
Yeah, that was probably the best part of that for us. We were expecting our income tax revenues to be down in 2020, and,
Sure.
and that actually wasn't the case. It held steady.
For anybody that might have questions about any of these items we've discussed during this segment, we mentioned your office location. Let's give them a main telephone number that they can follow up on.
Sure, call my office at any time, 847-6532.
And your office, is it or is it not currently open to visitors?
It is appointment only.
Okay.
You can come in. We've got a lobby that we kind of like to do exchange of paperwork and plans. If you need to speak with somebody, call or email and set up an appointment.
Okay. Well, the city is still operating and encouraging people, members of the public, to do as much business as possible over the phone and email, that type of thing. So keep that in mind too. You might want to call ahead and see if facilities are open that you want to come and visit. Chris Fine, Miamisburg Economic Development Director, saying thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you very much.
We're going to take a break. We're going to come back. We're going to talk about some downtown issues. Stay with us as Let's Talk Miamisburg rolls on. Hello, welcome back. I'm Gary Giles. Thanks for being with us. A reminder, for our January episode, we are pre-recorded. No opportunity to call in with questions or comments this month, but we will again be providing you with some contact information before we say goodbye. We're going to switch gears here in our second segment. Joining me here on the set, to my immediate left, in the center of your screen, is Katie Frank. Katie is the City of Miamisburg's Community Development Director. And then on the far right of your screen is Hedy Riegle. And Hedy Riegle is the owner of the Hedy Riegle Studio located in downtown Miamisburg. And we're going to talk about that in just a moment. Let's start by telling our viewers a little bit about yourselves professionally. And we'll start with you, Katie. What has been your role with the city and how long have you been with the city?
Well, I am going on 13 years being with the city. And for the first 10 years, I was more just downtown development focused. Mm-hmm. So anything in the downtown, businesses, signs, marketing, a variety of things downtown. And then in the last 3 years, my role has expanded to community development, which then now also includes neighborhood development. So I also work on a neighborhood enhancement program called CARES. So it's downtowns, neighborhoods. That's my role.
Sure. How about you, Hedy? A little bit about your professional background.
I started Hedy Riegle Studio about 11 years ago.
Okay.
And I just started popping up at small farmers markets and boutique shops. And then we moved here to Dayton from the Columbus, Ohio area. And I started working at the 2nd Street Market, selling my wares there. Mm-hmm. And I've been there for the past 6 years.
Okay, we appreciate you being here on the program with us. You're a first-time guest.
Yes.
And we appreciate that. We're going to learn
I'm
more about your
delighted to be
shop
here.
in just a moment. Katie, tell us about this new business program that I mentioned at the top of the show. It's downtown. I mentioned it. What is it, and what are its goals?
Mm-hmm. So I'll start by first saying that the Market Square building, mm-hmm. as most people know, it's in the center of downtown, a crucial, beautiful old building mm-hmm. to downtown Miamisburg. And for many years, the Historical Society had its home operation in the main floor of the Market Square building. Mm-hmm. The second floor was rented out for events and that sort of thing. So as many people know, I believe it was last fall, December, the Historical Society moved out of Market Square, which mm-hmm. left us with a whole open first floor of what do we do with this. So we have had many conversations along the years even of businesses, and and how we have a lot of businesses that contact us that want to open up, but the spaces we have in downtown are either too big, or they need too much work, or there's not really a good middle ground, middle space for some of these businesses coming in. So we've had that issue for a while. So as we began talking about what to do with Market Square, we decided, oh, this makes sense for a retail incubator. So how about we have an opportunity for some of these businesses who are in an in-between stage to come in this facility and operate their business, and then hopefully the goal is to get them out onto Main Street or onto their own storefront eventually within the city. So that birthed the idea of Thrive, Thrive at Market Square. So Thrive is in essence, it's a retail incubator program where we and I can get into the details, that can have up to 5 tenant spaces within the first floor. And I will get to who all's in there and how to go about that. But that, in essence, is what Thrive at Market Square is.
Well, it is the centerpiece of downtown. So you've got empty space there, and what a productive use. You've got to be really happy with the launch of this idea, this concept.
Yes, it was. So several departments worked on this together, and to develop the program parameters and to get the facility ready. So Parks and Recreation oversees the facility, so they did a lot of work, and I think Hedy agrees it looks beautiful in there, and it's a very welcoming, inviting location. It looks great. Some of the requirements for the program are things like you need to have a business plan. We require the business to do counseling with the Small Business Development Center. That's part of the program because we want the businesses to grow. They also need to have insurance, and then they also go before through email now, basically, a review panel to see if this type of business is what would be a good destination niche type business for the downtown.
The first participating business in the program was the Hedy Riegle studio. Hedy, how did you hear about the Thrive program, and what about it appealed to you?
Well, I've been at the Second Street Market for many years, and in March of 2020, they closed and have not reopened. So I started looking at other areas within the city that maybe I could just pop in for a little while. My good friend Angie Reiner, she has Dabble Creative Studio in downtown Miamisburg, and through her, she introduced me to Katie, and we talked about some other spaces that might be available up and down the street, but then she talked to me about this program, Thrive at Market Square, and it sounded like a really good fit. So we talked about it some more, and I was really pleased what all the city was doing to help small businesses. And I thought it was a great opportunity for me to pop in, see what I could do in the area, see if my business would thrive in Miamisburg, and then from there we'll see where things go.
Let's put a couple of photos on the screen for the viewers at home to show a little bit about what we're talking about with the building. And there's the new outside of the Market Square building, a close-up with the new Thrive at Market Square sign at the top, and that's what it looks like today. And inside, there's the happy opening day for the Hedy Riegle studio, officially, when they had a ribbon cutting, and city officials and some other people involved with downtown and involved with your business came out to officially open up. That was a good day. So getting on your radar was really through your acquaintance of another business owner in downtown. Well, how have things gone so far?
They've been great. The local merchants have all been very welcoming and offering guidance and tips about the area. The local residents have all popped in and said hello, and some of my other customers from downtown Dayton have also come out to Miamisburg. So,
well, I want to give you an opportunity to tell us a little bit about the products and the services that you offer there at the Hedy Riegle studio.
Okay. My specialty is the hand-stamped jewelry, and so each letter is set individually onto like a brass tag, and then we can create that into a necklace or a key ring. I've got lots of other items that we stamp on. I've got leather, copper, brass, necklaces that are created with trinkets that I've found either at estate sales or flea markets, and then we marry those in with some new items like sparkling beads and little charms.
So it's like custom made.
It is custom made.
And you also have some workshops available to the public.
I do. I'm very excited about that. That's something new that I introduced when I moved over into this location. Second Street Market is a tight area, so offering that wasn't really feasible. So now we have a nice spacious area that we can spread out. We can offer the workshops for individuals. I can do appointments if we want to keep it very small, or if you want to have a small group come in for events like church group or just your girlfriends. So we can arrange all that, and you can actually hands-on with the anvil and the hammer making your own piece of jewelry.
Very original.
Thank you.
Very unique concept. That's great. Katie, have you seen interest in the Thrive program since Hedy opened up, and how do you see or hope that the program evolves?
Yes, and I want to go back to Hedy and just say how she's been crucial to the success of this program so far. All the timing worked out at the same time, and so we were very fortunate to have her as the first tenant. It all worked out very, very well. And Hedy's also put the word out, like you said, to other tenants. So because of Hedy talking to other people, we do have another tenant in there currently, and her company is named Silver Neon, and she specializes in vintage clothing. And we do have some applications in the works, but we do have one space available still at this point.
Okay.
So the hope is to fill it all within the next month or so. And these are going to be ongoing. They're a 3-month lease, renewable up to 3 times. So these will be ongoing tenants.
3 months. Okay, so shorter leases, lower general rent amounts.
Yes.
That's benefits to the aspiring business person, right? Okay. Well, that's great. We look forward to keeping track of this program and how it evolves in 2021 and its popularity. You're off to a good start, it sounds like. We've only got about a minute or two left. I want to ask you, Katie, before we go, an update on the neighborhood enhancement program that you mentioned at the beginning, part of your responsibilities, called Miamisburg Cares. What's coming up in 2021?
So the Miamisburg Cares program, we are working on our second neighborhood. So our first neighborhood is the Canal District, and that neighborhood, we are still in it. The neighborhood group is still meeting, still addressing issues, and that will always be an ongoing attention for that first neighborhood. The second neighborhood, we have reached out to the group, to the neighborhood, and solicited resident feedback. And that neighborhood, it involves Siebert Avenue, involves Riverview Avenue, and Curtis Drive. So that whole area around Bear School. On the west side of the river. That is our second neighborhood. And so with that, we are actually working with MVRPC and the Montgomery County Land Bank to do a lot of the data findings and the analysis and the resident input and survey. We are getting ready to release a website that will post all of the updates, and we will be in that neighborhood working on all the projects that they want to see happen.
Okay, let's put some contact information on the screen as we move forward and conclude the segment. If you want to follow up on any of the information that we've talked about here for Thrive at Market Square, there's Katie's phone number and email address, and there's the website for the Hedy Riegle Studio and HedyRiegleStudio.com. So check in there for information. We appreciate you being with us. Katie Frank and Hedy Riegle. Hedy, good luck to you,
Thank you
in 2021. I'm Gary Giles. We thank you so much for watching Let's Talk Miamisburg. We'll see you soon.